Real estate for decades has been a cornerstone of the American dream, with the widespread belief that property values will always rise. For many who managed to purchase homes over the past 50 years, the returns have been nothing short of extraordinary. This success has elevated real estate to a near mythical status, viewed as one of the most reliable paths to wealth in this country. However, that assumption comes with significant risks, particularly when we look deeper at market forces that can shift unexpectedly. As history has shown, real estate markets are not immune to severe downturns. What many fail to realize is that under the right, or rather wrong circumstances, real estate can become a financial trap. This isn't just about individual missteps. It's about how broader market conditions can create situations where even seemingly sound investments can crumble. With the following example, you'll see how real estate, once considered a guaranteed winner, can quickly become a devastating liability. The forces driving the market can sometimes move beyond anyone's control, and when they do, they can turn a prized asset into a source of financial ruin. But to truly understand the risks, we need to take a step back in time for a brief history lesson. On June 24, 2021, in the Miami suburb of Surfside, a 12-story beachfront condo building suddenly collapsed in the middle of the night. In the aftermath, an investigation was launched to determine the root cause of the disaster. What emerged was a troubling combination of factors: saltwater corrosion weakening the rebar, long-standing water leaks, and inadequate construction practices. Now, this isn't an engineering deep dive, but it's important to highlight this event for a different reason. The collapse wasn't just a structural failure. It set off a chain reaction of legislation and market shifts that transformed Florida's condo market into a ticking time bomb. What happened next changed the landscape for condo owners, developers, and investors alike, revealing the hidden vulnerabilities that can affect an entire market from a financial perspective. One key finding from the investigation into this tragedy was that the Condo Association had known about serious structural issues as far back as 2018, 3 years before the collapse. Addressing these problems was estimated to cost around $15 million, and this is where the flaws in Florida's condo market become clear. As a condo resident, you typically pay an HOA fee that covers various expenses, one of which is a reserve fund. Think of a reserve fund as a savings account for the condo association meant to cover large, unexpected expenses like major repairs. The idea is to prevent residents from being hit with sudden, massive bills. However, the issue was that these reserve funds were not well regulated. It was largely up to each condo association to decide how much money they thought was enough to put aside, often with little oversight. As a result, many reserves were severely underfunded, leaving residents vulnerable to unexpected financial strain. In this case, the condo association had about $700,000 in reserve funds, far below the estimated $15 million needed for repairs. According to association reserves, the recommended reserve amount at the time was $10.4 million, more than 10 times what the association had saved. Now let's do the math. With 136 units and a $15 million special assessment, each owner was suddenly on the hook for $102,000. While the residents did ultimately approve a special assessment, they had a hard time getting a loan for it, with a bank finally approving them in March of 2021. But, unfortunately, it was too late. This situation highlighted just how difficult it is for condo owners to accept such a sudden, massive bill, even when they're told the issues are critical. The psychological and financial shock of unexpected expenses like this makes it hard for anyone to act quickly, even in the face of urgent repairs. So, how does this impact the broader market? In short, the tragic loss of 98 lives prompted swift action from Florida lawmakers. This new legislation means that condos across the state, many of which had been neglecting these issues for years, suddenly found themselves on the hook for millions of dollars in mandatory repairs and reserve funding. While the effects took a few years to fully surface, the consequences are becoming increasingly apparent today. In my opinion, this could be disastrous for a significant portion of the condo market, yet it's not receiving nearly enough attention in the media. Let me show you a real-life example of just how severe this situation can become. This is Cricket Creek. It's a 50-unit condo building right on the water of Biscayne Avenue. Now, let's take a look at a particular listing there. This is a 2-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,000-square-foot condo that went on the market 9 months ago in December of 2023 for $400,000. It sat on the market for months, with the sellers reducing the price by about 10% each month until May, when they reduced the price by a whopping 22%. The condo, which started off at $400,000, was now selling at $192,000, a 52% decrease from the original listed price. And guess what? Despite this insane sale, the condo still couldn't find a buyer. Just recently, in early August, the listing was removed, with the seller likely frustrated at what was happening. So, what is really going on? If you dig into the details, you'll quickly realize that this condo probably wouldn't even sell for $50,000. And here's why. It's been burdened with a long list of special assessments. The breakdown is staggering. $175 a month until 2036, $160 a month until 2034, and a newly approved $3,400 for 2024. But that's just the beginning. $160,000 is due in 2025, $144,000 is due in 2026, and $116,000 is due in 2027. That totals a staggering $494,000 in special assessments over the next 4 years, not including regular condo fees. These special assessments, which were triggered by the new safety regulations essential for public safety, have unfortunately turned many Florida condos from valuable assets into outright liabilities. In this case, it's not unfair to say the condo has negative value. Even if you gave it away for free, finding a buyer would be difficult because it comes with massive debt in the form of these special assessments. Listen to what Nicholas Gurley has to say on this situation.
Folks, this condo crash in Florida just got even worse. These condos behind me, the HOA fees are quadrupling in some cases, and the owners are fire sailing and having to cut the price by 10, 20, 30, even 40%. We're seeing 40% price cuts from condo owners in Florida in certain situations. I'm going to show you them in this video. The first one that you got to pay attention to is in St. Petersburg. And one of the nicest condo properties in St. Petersburg, there's an owner who's cut the price from $1.2 million to $715,000, a $475,000 price cut. Now they're selling it for less than they bought it for in 2020. And we're just seeing this more and more across Florida, everyone. Desperate condo owners looking to get out of the market before the crash gets even worse in 2025. Because in 2025, just 3 or 4 months from now, all the condos, all the older condos in Florida are gonna have to have their condo reserves caught up. They're gonna have to have a budget in place and collect the proper HOA fees so they're able to do the repairs and maintenance. That means that we could see even more increases in HOA assessments over the next 6 to 12 months, which could lead to an even bigger condo crash across the state. Now, I was looking all over Florida for examples of condo prices declining and the crazy HOA fees. I'm gonna show you some right now, everyone, so you guys can understand just how desperate this situation is. The first example I'm going to show you is from a building behind me here in Miami Beach. It's a property that's on the market right now for $430,000. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath. 930 square feet. You can see, oh, that's kind of an affordable price for a 2-bed, 2-bath condo on Miami Beach, right? Well, look at the HOA fee, everyone. $1,600 a month is the HOA fee, which comes out to $19,000 a year, which means if you were to buy that condo for $430,000 and own it for 20 years, you would pay the cost of your purchase price in HOA fees over 20 years, which again is why these owners are looking to sell. The HOA fees went way, way up in these older condo buildings, and many can no longer afford the payments or don't want to make the payments.
The situation on the ground is a lot worse than any storyline or graph can show. This is 30 years of reserve neglect all coming out at once, showcasing how assets can quickly turn into liabilities.